Well, Coach, first of all, congratulations on getting in. What does it say about your program? Obviously, you guys have played a strong schedule. What does it say about it? The fact you young ladies and your team got an at-large in the NCAA.
Well, first, thank you very much. It is humbling and it is extremely exciting to know that we have made history for Liberty softball, getting in at large bid for the NCAA postseasons for regional. And what's so exciting about it is that when you see student athletes that want to compete at the highest level, and we're able to deliver that with a university who supports us to do it, right? To be able to have the budget to travel and play, and the respect that you're getting in return from top-ranked teams to be able to say, you guys are right there with us, and they want to compete. And that's what the fun thing is, that we've been recognized for that body of work. And we just want to continue to just use the gifts God's given us, seize the opportunities before us. I was a little shocked when I saw that we're going to be heading for a regional across country, but really excited when I heard UCLA, as you know, my alumni. You know, I'm an alumni there, so.
And just talk a little more about that, because this is the second time this year you guys will be heading out there.
Yeah.
Just talk about that aspect, because I mean, I forgot which one of your players said, it's when you go out to UCLA softball and they talk about softball, I mean, you're the one they talk about a lot. So just talk about just that aspect of it.
Well, I think the exciting thing about, first of all, representing our university and being a part of an amazing program. And, you know, it's when you look at going to UCLA, it brings back a lot of memories for me. Obviously, as someone who graduated from there, my alma mater. But it started a program just like us. When I went to UCLA, we won the first NCAA championship ever offered to women in sport. And that was the academic year of, 80, 82, 83. And is that right, Joe? 81, 82. Yeah, because we won in 82. And so to win the first NCAA championship and to see how UCLA has grown and the tradition, that is what we want to do here at Liberty. And it starts with student athletes that have that same vision, who want to be able to put a program on the map. And when you look at that, it's really about a legacy, leaving a legacy. And about us going to the West Coast in the beginning of the season is I always look at a schedule and I say, who could we play? When you want to be the best, you have to play the best and prove you're better. So it's not just about playing them, it's about competing. And that's what this program does. And that's why top-ranked teams, including ourselves at times, right, have been there. They love to play us because they know they're going to have a good game. Look at UCLA's game. We lost 3-4. 3-4? 2-3. Close game by one run. We lost to Oklahoma in extra innings, the eighth inning, by one run, 0-1, right? And just competed with top programs, Stanford, Washington, Duke twice, Virginia Tech in there as well as highly ranked team. We beat Alabama, as you're aware. Clemson, we beat them as well this year. I think our strength of schedule is in the top 5, one of the top 5 strength of schedules in the country. But I do that because I try and look at saying, okay, how can we get better? You have to play the best teams. And I'm excited that we have an opportunity to be in the top 64 and be an at-large in the top 32. So it's big.
How has the team as a whole and the ladies individually evolved since those early season matchups, like for instance against UCLA?
We have evolved and improved immensely. In the beginning of the season, I mean, everyone is fighting for a spot. You don't know what the lineup's going to end up being. You're giving everybody opportunities. And so now we have this big saying for our team, the root, right, is going to produce the fruit. And so the root is, what is everyone's role? It might be a role you're not so happy with. You might want to be that starter, but at the point is the starters have earned that position, but everyone else is helping to make them stronger and themselves stronger to be ready for whatever the role might be, whether it's to be a pinch hitter, a runner, whatever that might be, charting, different things like that. So I look back, it's amazing because time has just flown by. But our first weekend at Oklahoma's tournament in Southern California, and then UCLA before we went down to Puerto Vallarta for the big competition there, we we're so much more experienced. We're so much more matured and united. And, it's just fun to see. And I think the challenge we had with this last tournament for the ASUN, we fought. And even though offensively we weren't there, we barely lost, if that's such a thing. We took 10 innings. We went 11 innings with, the 19th, 20th ranked team in the country. We're right there. So it's a matter of, will we get hot? And I hope we get hot.
Your team talked about having productive at-bats this season and how you're able to string those hits together at timely manners in the games. How have you seen that kind of come to fruition from your perspective?
Well, I have really seen every player through this lineup step up, and that's fun. We have yet to see 1 through 9 totally. Right, Joe? We have seen, you saw the production of the Jacksonville State. It was 6 through 9. Then there have been games 1 to 4. Then there's been the heart of the lineup. And so, we have not reached our full potential. And I'm hoping we reach it now because you want to finish strong. If we don't, guess what? We're going to keep getting better even for next year as we keep growing. We have a young team, so it's pretty exciting to see that. The transfers that have come in have added a little bit more of experience, and maturity in that regards, but they're all just, it's fun to see them come together, and it's fun to see them produce. You guys, you talked to KK and, just how she went from somebody who felt she was getting no opportunities at one school to now where she's getting all these opportunities but not performing. And then it took a really, I think, as collectively a coaching staff and players to say, man, don't put that much pressure on yourself. Love the game. And as she gets closer to the Lord, I think just feeling that freedom. And that kid is very special. And just as, hitting ASUN 400 plus and overall leading the team in batting average, she probably never saw that would happen. How about Carly Keeney, you guys? She started off the year and she was getting all the big games and we weren't winning. Close games, but we weren't winning. I bet you she was thinking, oh no, what is my record going to be? Look at her. Amazing. She got it done. And how about Paige Bachman only pitched 1 inning last year? 1. And she's come in and been able to do a great job and is getting even better. How about Estroff, our third pitcher, right? Who's utility player at another school, then comes in and we're like, no, we don't need you to play second or short and we need you to pitch. She's okay. So they're all collectively doing what they need to do. And the rest of the team knows, and that's why they put so much pressure on themselves, that it's really score some runs. When your pitchers are keeping opponents 3 runs or less, what ERA's 2 point something or other and lower? Come on. Get some runs, all right? And they were all trying to put it out. Some of them did. I love that too, but man, let's get runners on.
You got some older players that all they know is postseason softball at the NCAA tournament. How do you think they've helped kind of lay a foundation for what you do want to see, that vision you were talking about?
Well, it's funny, as an athlete, myself, I look through the years and, God, my first tournament, I remember it was a blur, and then the second tournament, I was like, defensively, I was good. And next tournament, offensively, I did pretty well. And then I put it all together. It's interesting how you look at college as 4 years. Sometimes it takes you those 4 years. And how about the COVID fifth-year players? Totally in a whole different place, right? So when we looked at our Duke regional last year, the reality is it's like, were we really ready? Some were. And then you saw, wait a minute, we're swinging it. Balls in the dirt. We're just trying to make something happen. I think a champion learns trust the gifts you have. Don't make the game bigger than it is. Zoom focus. And it's all about the ball. It's not about who you play. Just be one with the ball. And when they learn that, I just have to smile. It's fun to see it.
Can you talk a little bit about the relief or refocusing that happens starting this new season now, this fresh start?
Yeah, that's the key. When we looked at the ASUN championship, it was like, hey, everything's in the past. It's a new beginning. But I also know, as we were back-to-back, defending champions, right? We're like, you can't put that much pressure on yourself either. And really, they all swung too big. Everyone was going for the fence. even their opponents recognized it. And that's one thing you can't do. You have to play within yourself. And so that's what I see them now. I think this last weekend is really going to put them in a great place. And we start as a coaching staff talking to them too. Like, okay, what did you do that was different? Why did you do that? And so that's part of coaching, because once when you can get them self-motivated, once you get them to self-analyze and be able to adapt and correct, then you know that you're doing your job. And what I saw today, they're out there doing that on their own. It was not an organized thing. They want it, and it's not in a panic mode. I think they're really hungry.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned earlier that you all won the first NCAA championship back in the early 80s. Could you talk about just the growth of women's softball from back when you played to where it is now? Because it seems like it's getting a lot more attention now. I mean, the ratings on ESPN and all the other networks are just so strong. Because you just talk about just the growth and how much more growth there could be with it.
Yeah, I've been asked a number of times through the years, wouldn't you love to be playing right now collegiate softball? And it's like, absolutely yes. However, I am so blessed to have had a career that has helped see the evolution of women in sport. In high school, I played volleyball, basketball, softball, track and field, and tennis. You look at even today, it's very rare that a young athlete, even on the male side, play multiple sports. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it shows you the attention that has been given to so many different sports. And for softball, okay, let me take you back. 1982, these kids weren't even a thought in their parents' minds right at the time. But we played in Omaha, Nebraska. The dugouts did not have even a roof over top of them. They were chain link fence, not even black. It was the silver chain link fence, right? And ESPN put up plywood on the top of the third base dugout. They had a ladder where the broadcasters would walk up and had that folding table that they put a table out there with folding chairs, and they put their little monitors up there and maybe had 2 cameras. I'm not kidding. And to see that, and we were like, whoa, this is awesome. And now to see what you see when you look at even regular season games, the attendance that's there, when you see the media attention that even in this room is here now, to last night on ESPN2 to see the selection show and the follow-up 7-inning post-review, it's just, yeah, softball's here. And I tell you, fast-pitch softball is an amazing sport. The fans love it because it's so fast. It's funny that the catch-22 is to have the attention, but yet now it's like, well, the games are taking longer because of commercials, which is a good thing, right? But it's just an awesome game. And the Lord had, with all the sports I played, really put me in the right one. The first NCAA championship we mentioned, the first Pan American Games for the United States when I was 17, the first Olympics for our sport in 1996, to repeat in 2000 with the gold medal. I believe softball is the third most viewed NCAA sport, with football number 1, men's basketball 2 with March Madness, and then softball. It's so fun when I look at ESPN and look at ESPN Plus, I can watch all of these games. There's not a favoritism to one side or another to have at least the access, for all conferences playing. So has the sport grown in its popularity? Without a doubt. And everyone will look at the 1996 Olympics, they call the Olympics of Title IX, with all the women's team sports winning gold medals for the United States, I think has really catapulted everything here. But I'll take you way back before that, really quickly. The first ever professional league in our sport. Billie Jean King and Joan Joyce got together, just like Billie Jean King had started the tour for tennis, and said, I want to support you, Joan Joyce, and all the softball players for a pro level. I was 15 and I was drafted at that time. And I refused to be professional. I turned the opportunity down because you had to be an amateur to get scholarships for college because they were just starting, and to be able to play in the Olympics, one of my dreams. But I look back at those women who are pioneers in our sport, who helped to launch everything that you're seeing today. check this out. The first pro league in our sport had a yellow ball with red seams. It was always white before that with white seams. The sidelines were 190 down the sides, 220 in center. The pitching rubber, instead of it being 40 feet from home plate, was 43 feet. Those women who played competitively at that era became coaches in the college ranks, and they were able to help shape the NCAA's development of where the sport is today. And a lot of people don't know that history, and I'm just very blessed to have a career that can share that history because it was really a part of my story.
You mentioned the selection show last night. Some of the players mentioned that you spoke to them afterwards about getting game ready. How quickly do you think your players went from, yay, we're happy to be in the tournament, to kind of focusing on getting that killer edge back? We're not here to just visit, we're here to get some wins.
Yeah, that's one of my problems. I'm like, we achieved it, we're there, let's go, instead of basking in the sun a little bit. But it was a shocker when we were announced, only because I didn't expect it to be so early to go to the West Coast. So that was kind of fun. It was like I was talking to Rupee, right? And all of a sudden we heard, whoa, okay. We thought we'd be on the East Coast a little bit. But the other thing is, it's a business, right? It's like these ladies are professional. They're getting, a lot of them getting their education paid for. And if they're not on scholarship, they're getting all the amenities, and traveling and all of that, still keeping an amateur status. But it's really about, what are you going to look back at? Are you going to look back when you're older and you're holding your children or your grandchildren and you think of this moment? And are you going to say, oh, well, we went and it was fun? Or are you going to say, we went and we gave it our all? That's what it's about, being in the moment, nothing distracting you. It's one of the greatest things of the 96 Olympics. After we won the gold medal and I went back into my room, I hadn't packed a thing. And I was leaving, right, to go back to work, and I looked and I smiled because I lived in the moment, right? I wasn't thinking about, I got to pack before the game to be ready to go. No, living in the moment. And when they can do that, you can walk away no matter what the results are, saying, I was present. That's where I wanted to be and nowhere else. And we did it together as a team. That is true success.